Yeah, I just seen the Breakfast Club. Jimmy popping all that. I be seeing you, Jimmy talking about we Gucci boo boo. He in the Gucci store. Talking about we Gucci boo boo. Them like King they was going you up, Jimmy. They was like, Marita Monero.
He ran with the same person as me 10 years prior to our meeting. There, Jim Jones and the Dipset were singing and dancing for ages. Shadi Kano, Jordan and Jim Jones were jogging together, right? Mel Matrix, Yal Jones, and Ro Willen Martin Hay oversaw Fu Banger. Fuan is his last name, but I can't recall it. Fuquan. He had the cats running with him. 50 Cent is powerless to stop informants from spreading information about Jim Jones. He's back now, wreaking havoc and dragging Jimmy through the mud with what he calls receipts. Loud, haphazard, and cunning. The traditional 50, if you've been following blogs and street rumors, you already know that Jim Jones has been avoiding those major snitch rumors for years. It all started when his name became ended the trial of Tekashi 69 after the wiretap revealed that he was allegedly preparing an attack on 6ix9ine. However, when the federal agents beat up the 9 Trey Bloods, Jimmy was able to get away safely. That made everyone give each other side eyes. Despite being caught on tape talking about real gang business, why was he never charged? It's time to move on. Cameron and Jim Jones are already involved in a heated online argument where they are insulting each other with direct shots and subs. And just when Jimmy thought things couldn't get any worse, 50 Cent, the king of petty, showed up with new receipts. According to 50, Jones has been working covertly with the same system that killed his men as an undercover FBI agent for years.
Like, we like Jimmy better than you anyway, Cam. Then you gotta watch and see how he responds. And then, did you see?
He was funny. I thought it was funny when he said, but I didn't think it'd be a big deal because you make up with every nigga that put hands on you. But I see the pattern now. If you agree to disagree with you and don't want to take it that route because they got some genuine love for you, you keep going.
The real kicker is this. Where's the actual proof? Does Jimmy work for the federal government? Or are there just 50 buttons being punched for revenge and power? More important, what was Jim's reaction to the harsh public criticism of 50? This time the stress in the troughs is leaking out and it feels much too intimate. If you know anything about the history of Dipset, you already know that Cameron and Jim Jones have been on a wild ride. They went from being brothers to bitter rivals, and now their tumultuous past is surfacing again. Meanwhile, 50 Cent's uncontrollable. Energy keeps spitting gasoline. So what exactly was the cause of this latest drama? Cameron just discussed an issue that has been plaguing him since 2007 with 50 Cent on his show. He brought up the fact that amid Dipset's ugly altercation with G-Unit, Jim Jones had unexpectedly attended one of 50's performances. 50 had a lot to say about that bold move. But Jimmy wasn't going to keep quiet. He graciously proceeded to Justin Leo's podcast to express his viewpoint. He claimed he had no regrets about rushing the stage with 50 at the time and that rap politics would not stop him from making money. But Jimmy didn't end there. He chastised 50 and Cam for bringing up his name at all.
Jimmy was not a rapper then.
Right.
He was your man, like on the side, like on the side, just he was not a rapper at all.
Right.
So when Ballin' took place, and I'm looking and I'm going, oh, he having a moment. That's the Lloyd Banks. It's Lloyd Banks thing. He wanted that. He was watching them be that, like Mace be that, and Cam be that, and looked at, and it was finally he had one. Mm-hmm. And I just looked, and I knew.
He even asserted that they both owe him important favors. Then he made a concerted effort to assert full responsibility for developing Dipset's entire identity, claiming to have inspired Cam's famous drip and even making him wear the recognizable pink fur coat that is still talked about today. Naturally, Cam would not ignore it. He slammed his and Mace's podcast. He went out of his way for Jimmy, to put it mildly. Cam questioned Jim's entire Dipet origin story, and he didn't simply clap back. In contrast to Jones, he was never a true day one who rode with him in the trenches, and he accused Jimmy of lying about coming from Harlem, brags. According to Cam, the whole "we grew up together" idea is absurd. Cam also refuted Jimmy's version of events in which Jimmy said he had followed May's son Cam after joining Diddy's Bad Boy. Cam would not accept it. According to him, Jim didn't show up until much later, after Cam had already put in a lot of work as a member of the well-known Harlem Group Children of the Corn, which included Maze, Big L, and Brother Bloodshed. After that, Cam made it apparent that Mace was the one who taught Jimmy how to rap, giving the impression that Jones was just a young friend attempting to join the group. For someone like Jim, who takes pride in his street reputation, that must have been extremely upsetting. But Jimmy wasn't going to keep quiet. Cam let him vent, and he didn't even spend time talking. He implied a remix of his Harlem song while still heavily representing his block. Additionally, he brought back 2 established legends, including Gucci along with Dave East, Vado, and Jules Santana. Jimmy didn't say what it was, but everyone knew. A clever response aimed straight at Cam. The streets quickly took up the message, and the rivalry abruptly escalated. Just when it seemed that the fire would eventually be out, 50 Cent made an unexpected appearance to start havoc again.
Just took the shot murder to see, because I wasn't sure he was going to go for it. But I was like, we like Jimmy better than you anyway, Cam. Then you got to watch to see how he responds. And then when you see, he like, oh, like that. Give me this. Get me Jimmy. Yeah, tell him we want him. We want you at the show, Jimmy.
This time he wasn't even talking about music. He revived popular interest in the dubious informant rumors surrounding Jim Jones. On Instagram, a photo of Jimmy next to Jay-Z, Diddy, and Fat Joe went viral. "LO Individual 1 calling the shots out here," he wrote, and then he lit up the internet. "I know you're at work, Individual 1, so don't talk to me." Given how loud the shade was, fans soon understood what 50 was implying. It was an obvious allusion to the ongoing suspicion that Jimmy was an FBI informant during Tekashi 6ix9ine's controversial trial. Jim was allegedly overheard saying that 6ix9ine was no longer a gang member in a wiretapped phone call that came to light during the time when 6ix9ine was on trial for spying on his 9 Trey Bloods teammates. His rights must be infringed.
Benefit me because it seems like you won't want to see nobody else win.
Right.
And I need to win. I got to win in spirit. You heard? I didn't put all this work in for nothing. You dig? I didn't teach myself how to rap for nothing. I didn't jump all on this game to be famous for nothing. I need to capitalize and be just as famous as the most famous, most successful, rich person in this game also. I'm now in the game.
I still gotta know, like, how did that work? You performing, like...
They called me like, yo, you want to come out and perform at the show?
Naturally, 50 also ensured that the actual call transcript was released to the public. For context, in 2018, Tekashi 6ix9ine and 9 other members of a trade syndicate were charged with federal racketeering and firearms offenses. Among the most feared blood sets in New York, that case flipped the rap industry upside down by exposing street connections and putting famous names in federal records. It's also being used like ammo by 50s, which supports the idea that Jimmy might have been working with the federal government all along. The federal government had been working on a case on 9 Treys for years. When 6ix9ine finally slipped, he promptly folded and became a full government witness to shorten his sentence. In September 2019, he was going on his infamous snitching rampage in that courtroom, naming people one by one. He testified against his former 90 members, including Anthony Harv Ellison, Al Jarreau, Nuke Mack, and numerous others, and gave the court extensive knowledge on gang operations that endangered multiple people. That's when everything went awry. For Jim Jones, though, his name was introduced into the proceedings by wiretap recordings. During his testimony, 6ix9ine played tapes that allegedly showed Jimmy mixing it up with another 9 Trey heavyweight, Jamal Mel Murda Jones. After trying to leave the gang during those conversations, Jim seemed as though he was preparing his next move around 6ix9ine. According to the Fed's own tape, Jimmy said that 6ix9ine must be broken. For many, that meant they could assault the rapper with the rainbow hair. The streets and the rap game were rocked by the recording for 2 key reasons.
Okay.
For the diplomats. You heard? Dan and Cam's pink. You heard? Hits out.
Nah.
All right. Sooner or later, he gonna have to tell it. Where he got the pink from.
Then push me under the bus and say, I ain't start this and I ain't do that. You started pink and you made the diplomats, which is just, if people choose to believe that, then look, I got a Brooklyn bridge.
It first showed that Jimmy had direct ties to 9 prominent trade members, not just a few. Informal contacts. Second, it raised the important question of why Jim was never indicted if he was caught on a federal wiretap allegedly talking about reprisal. Some were imprisoned, but Jones was released. Because of this, people are often wondering if he is truly working with the federal government. After the trial, both defenders and critics called for immediate responses. How could Jim Jones get caught up in such a major federal investigation and get away with it, while the top 9 Trey members were imprisoned for years? Rumors that Jimmy might have been working as a confidential informant and secretly negotiating with the federal authorities to sidestep prosecution really took off at that point. And the loudest voice circulating that rumor was none other than Whack 100. He openly accused Jim of being a government informant, claiming that Jimmy was already working behind closed doors and that this is why he was never put in jail after the wiretap. Whack stepped up everywhere. Clubhouse locations, podcasts, and even interviews with 6ix9ine, who boldly pushed Jim Jones to prove he wasn't working covertly with the cops. Now Jimmy would not ignore it. He disputed everything upon his return, calling Whack a clout chaser and a transparent liar who was merely trying to harm his name. The catch is this: even though Jim removed the informant classification after being found on those wiretaps, he never fully explained why he wasn't arrested. And because of that quiet, the hum of the streets kept getting louder. As of yet, there is no proof that Jim Jones is an informant. His name was never included as a cooperating witness, and there is no public record of him testifying or helping law enforcement. But why he skated free when others were brutally beaten is still a mystery. Jim was never charged. Therefore, there are still a lot of unanswered questions. Jimmy clapped back right away, so 50 Cent must have touched a nerve. In response, he accused 50 of being dishonest and even posted a chic picture of himself at the pool along with the comment, "Why do you keep lying, LO? I'm going back to sleep," he continued, brushing the whole thing aside. Matrix 2, male free, it's reversed. Here's the problem though. No matter how vehemently Jim disputes such informant reports, many fans just don't trust him. Each time the topic is brought up again, the same question is asked. How did Jimmy get away with it when almost all 9 of the other Trey members were taken? And because 50 people are constantly trolling and bringing up the subject, the fire won't go out. Online, fan theories are even being shared. One said, Jim Jones, a high-ranking gang member, essentially ordered a hit on someone by telling his cousin, another high-ranking gang member. The person he told it to was arrested, not him, no, a friend. Denmark has a foul stink. 6ix9ine told the Globe that there were a lot more snitches, but nobody listened to it. Jimmy might laugh it off at the pool, but the streets aren't laughing. The questions and side glances aren't going away. Because despite his repeated denials, people are interested in learning why he is the only one who skated free. How did Jimmy get out of jail when everyone else was in jail? 50 Cent's ongoing taunting and upkeep of these rumors show that this problem isn't going away anytime soon. Advocates keep making the same point. High-ranking gang member Jim Jones told his cousin, another high-ranking gang member, to essentially order a hit on someone, a source informed me. He was not arrested, but the person he told was. Not at all, fellow, Denmark smells. 6ix9ine told everyone that there were nobody wanted to listen, but there were a few more snitches. No, not at this time. The streets are humming more than ever. And the questions aren't going away. Is Jim Jones genuinely hiding something, or is this merely another case of 50 setting off alarms? What about Dipset? Do you believe Cameron and Jen can ever reconcile their tense brotherhood, or is Dipset over forever? How do you feel about 50 Cent reviving old informant rumors? Please remember to use the like button, share this with a friend, subscribe, and comment with your thoughts so that you don't miss the next wild breakdown.